Hey guys, today I want to go ahead and do something a little bit different. I want to start talking about my own psychedelic experiences, just my trips that I've went ahead and had over the past few years. A little bit about myself. My preference of psychedelics would be shrooms. I've had an acid about 5 times, but I haven't really had good experiences on acid. So yeah, I don't know. I just like the way that shrooms makes me feel. I love the introspection that it brings, and it just feels more fluid, rather than anything else I've ever taken. I occasionally smoke weed, through vapor, but other than that, the drugs I've ever taken, the only ones would be shrooms, acid, and weed. I've taken shrooms about 50 times. The bulk of my experiences would be while I was a senior in high school, and I've taken it a few more times after high school. But I've been actually taking microdoses over the past few days, and it's been making me feel really good about myself. So if you are ever interested in maybe taking shrooms, maybe try out a microdose. I feel like it's really beneficial. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the first trip I've ever had on shrooms. So enjoy. So the first time I ever took shrooms, I was a senior in high school, and it was, I believe, a Wednesday night. It wasn't the most ideal set and setting. I wouldn't recommend taking shrooms on a night where you have a lot of things you need to attend very early in the morning, but that was just the time I would usually take shrooms. Um, so yeah, I was in my living room on the phone with my friend, and I went ahead and ingested 2.5 grams of mushrooms. Um, so this particular setup of setting, I was avoiding my parents, and I have a brother. I'm avoiding them so they don't see me taking the mushrooms. But other than that, I was really open to just talk to anybody that would come in contact with me. I didn't really have that much precaution, I guess you would say. So I took 2.5 grams, and I was talking on the phone with my friend just so they could accompany me while I was going on the come up. And I was just chilling, just talking until about 40 minutes. I started feeling the effects begin. I felt this intense, warm body high. It was extremely euphoric, and it was probably one of the most amazing sensations I've ever felt. It was going up and down my body like waves, as if I was the ocean, and each wave was just this orgasmic energy just going up and down my body repeatedly. The lights in the living room started to get hazy and brighter, and I decided that was when I was going to end the call with my friend and just experience the trip. I've had a lot of experience in terms of listening to shroom trips, and I would listen to good, amazing shroom trips, and that excited me. So when I took the mushrooms, I felt absolutely no anxiety. I had no come up anxiety, and I felt no nausea through this trip. So I went ahead and got up, and I went to my room where my brother was sleeping on the top bunk bed, and mine's is the bottom bunk bed. So I decided to get in bed. The lights were off, and if you've taken shrooms, you know that when the lights are off or you're in darkness, that's when you see some of the most intense visuals. So I laid in bed. This is about an hour and a half into the shroom trip, and I was just looking into my closet, which was right in front of me. As in, I was laying down in bed, and where my feet were, the closet was. It was just how the room was set up. And I saw this pyramid, in the darkness, starting to come out of the closet, and it was just spinning in the middle of my room, and it was pretty large. So I was just watching this pyramid in awe. I was like, I'm actually seeing a physical pyramid floating in front of me, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing. So I stared at that for a while, and I decided to go into my phone to see what was happening, to see what it would be like to be on my phone. So I unlocked my phone, and it looked as if the code like zeros and ones from the Matrix. There were these green 0 and 1s just falling off the phone. And it just looked like the Matrix was opening up for my phone and I'm seeing everything inside of it. And it was pretty trippy. When I went on my phone, the letters were wiggling and you could see like these like rainbows coming out of the letters as they like wiggled. It looked pretty cool. And for some reason, I looked up a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was the most amazing picture I've ever seen. He just looked like there were like rainbows just emitting out of him, and I saw each line in his face. It was pretty intense. I'll put up a picture of the portrait I was looking at. So after I stared at that for a while, I decided I wanted to move around and just be a little bit more free. The time now was about 10 o'clock, and everybody was asleep, so I went into the living room again, and I put in my earphones, and I just felt like dancing. I put on some classical music, and I was just spinning around, being crazy. If anybody came out into the living room, that would have been an awkward conversation of why I'm just dancing in the middle of the living room for no reason in my underwear. But yeah, I was doing that for a while. Maybe like 2 hours, I was just dancing nonstop. And I saw these figures in my head. There was just so many things going through my mind, just all these colors and shapes. And I was just dancing and just felt like I was there in the presence, the present, just experiencing life. I don't know. It was really nice. So I did that for a while, and after I was done dancing, I went ahead and went back to my room and laid in bed. I watched some YouTube videos of people talking about their shroom trips, and I was just looking at their faces like enlarge and their eyes grow and shrink, and it was an awesome trip. I'm not gonna lie. After that shroom trip, I woke up the next day. I probably fell asleep at like 3 a.m. If you take shrooms, like you're gonna have a very hard time falling asleep. So I fell asleep pretty late, maybe 3 or 4. I don't really remember, but yeah. So that was my first shroom trip. It wasn't anything too crazy. I do have more crazy stories coming up, but yeah, that was my entire trip. If you guys enjoyed, leave a comment about what you think. But other than that, thank you so much. Yep.